Hi, I'm here. My name's Tony. I live in northern New England. More specifically, I live in New Hampshire. And it's currently during the coronavirus. I don't know what to say because I don't do YouTube, but I have a lot of dishes I have to do and I'm fucking bored. I don't want to do them because it's just a chore to do, but I might as well record something whilst doing them. A, it'll feel like I'm actually entertaining someone, even if it's just little old me. And B, it'll give me like a look back to this time and to see what I sounded like, what I was looking like what I was doing. So, here I am, and I'm gonna do my dishes. And I'll try and talk about stuff as I go. But it'll probably sound like talking to myself because I do that a lot. Um, we'll see. There's not good lighting. Sorry, I can't do it. Well, can I do anything about that? I don't think so. I don't think I can turn on my flash, can I? Nope, probably not. Whatever, anyways, I'll just start talking. I don't know if this is loud. Sorry. So, finally have my apartment. Took a while for me to finally move out, but thanks to my best friend's help and also her kind of pushing me to do it. Not in a get in, you stupid, but more like, come on, you want to do this, do it. I finally have my apartment. It's great to be able to be. Actually, I need to set up a place to put clean stuff. It's wonderful to be able to finally like live by myself and not have to think about being, disruptive to people's sleep or to think just there's all the things that you have to think about when you have people that you live with. For me, it was my family. Now, all the food in the fridge is mine. Then again, all the dishes are also mine, but it's less hard to deal with, I guess, because it's like, it's your fault if anything gets done, or if you want anything clean, it's your fault. You're gonna have to do it. Oh, excuse me. Plus, now I have a place to actually have all of my movies, which is lovely because I have like 300 something movies, and now I actually have a place to store them instead of in a box or tied up together. And I've started to watch some. What did I just recently? I just recently watched what? Oh, I finally have seen Mad Max Fury Road. I know it's a long time ago that movie came out, and by long I mean it was years ago, but it wasn't like decades ago. But still, it wasn't bad. I definitely enjoyed it more for the setting and characters rather than for the story itself, because the story really, there is no story. It just kind of follows a moment. Like, I think it would be, wait, let me fix this. I guess that's good. I definitely think it would benefit by having either a TV show with this, like, let's have the first few episodes of the TV show be the movie, and then continue on from there. Or go back, because I know there are other movies in the franchise. I think the first one was just called Mad Max. And then there's one called, like, Superdome or something like that. I don't remember who's in it, but I know there's that. And I'll probably end up checking those out at some point. But I still feel like the universe they made yeah, sure, we'll go with it. The universe they made in Mad Max Fury Road is very interesting. It's weird and creepy and cruel, and I love it. It's so interesting. I do kind of wish they added more. Maybe this is just going to turn into a video of me reviewing some movies. So anyways, what else has I rewatched Sound of Music. Such a good movie. It's beautiful. The music is all wonderful. I say all wonderful. I don't really care for when Captain Von Trapp is singing. It's not that it's bad singing. It's just the rest of them are so catchy and so iconically rememberable and all that. which, as I was saying that, it reminded me of something else completely unrelated, as in another thing I've been watching. I just took up the Orville, finally. I'd seen a review here or there, or no, okay, so there was a Jenna and Julian podcast where they were talking about just Star Trek in general and then also streaming apps, but that doesn't really have anything to do with it. But they were talking about the Orville, and Jenna was so happy with the Orville because it felt like an actual Star Trek show. I have seen, I think, season 1 and 2 of Star Trek Discovery. It's not a bad show. It's definitely interesting. There's a lot of mystery. It's quite interesting. The Klingons are, I think, kind of interesting. Obviously, it's not really what the rest of the universe looks like. Words. It's obviously not what the rest of the Klingons look like in any other show, or sound like, for that matter, but it's still interesting. You could kind of think of it as it's like, no, that's the aesthetic of that show, considering it does look a lot like The Force Awakens as far as, The Force Awakens, but it also looks a lot like the Star Trek movie that J.J. Abrams did. With all, like, the lens flares and everything being very, very clean. It's okay, but the Orville, oh my goodness, it is so good. But let me explain why, because it might not be why you think it's good. Now, there are different sci-fi shows here and there, and a lot of them can focus on like space battles, which are awesome. Star Wars has some great space battles. Let me turn up this temperature a bit. There we go. Turn you down. Okay. Star Wars has some great space battles. There are other shows that focus just on like the like exploration. I was going to say Discovery, but that sounds like the show. They focus on like the discovery aspect of it. But the Orville is what I personally really, really enjoyed from The Next Generation, being their exploration of like the politics and social existence of other cultures. So let me explain some. If you haven't seen it, I guess you could call this spoilers, but it's whatever. No one's seeing this anyway. I'm like, no one's watching this. Maybe someone will come across this and find it interesting. Come do dishes with me if you end up seeing this. Play this while you do dishes, because that's what I'm doing, cleaning your chopstick. So, I think it's the 3rd episode of the 1st season of The Orville. And this is what Jenna and Julian mentioned in their podcast, or at least Jenna mentioned in the podcast, was there's a character, so quick overview. The Orville is basically a like spoof of The Next Generation and also the original series of Star Trek. But it's not quite as silly as, let's say, Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest is incredibly silly, but also good, but incredibly silly. Whereas this starts out kind of silly in the first season, and then by the end of the first season it gets a little bit better, and then by season 2 it's just full on basically The Next Generation. So there's all the characters are kind of like mirrors of characters in The Next Generation. So they have like a cybernetic life form called Isaac, who's basically Data. He's not exactly Data, but he's basically Data. They have Bortus, who's basically Worf. So he's like a Klingon-esque species, which is very like masculine. Not that Worf is, but Bortus's planet is. There's obviously the captain. They have the Doctor. I love the Doctor. All the characters are really good. They have like so Lieutenant Malloy, Gordon Malloy. He's like a wisecracking guy who's also the navigator, I think. So they have a lot of like similarities, I guess you could say. But Bortus is who I'm talking about. So in season 1, episode 3, Bortus and his partner, who is a male, because their entire species is male, have a child. And the entire species of what they are, Mocklins, all of Mocklins are all male. There are no females. And when they give birth to their child, it ends up being female. And the entire episode is very similar, I would say, to Measure of a Man from The Next Generation, where Data has to or people have to prove for Data that he's sentient and that he deserves rights. And he can't just be, assigned somewhere to be taken apart so people can learn about him. Instead, they have to figure out other ways to go about it. With this, they have to discuss and try and come to a conclusion as to whether or not to have a reassignment surgery done on the baby, which apparently on Mockless is a very common thing. Is if there are, and when I say very common, I mean when a female is born, it's very common that the female will have reassignment surgery. And even though the female births are very rare. So the entire episode focuses on them trying to decide whether or not to allow the surgery. And it's very much the, politics, socioeconomic, not really socioeconomic, but no, yeah, still socioeconomic because of the actual, existence of the Mocklin way. It's very much what Star Trek The Next Generation is about. So I absolutely love it for them. I'm so glad that there's another show that does that. And it does kind of surprise me that it's so good, because it for a long time it kind of seemed as though Star Trek was going to be the only show that did something as good as that. Ugh, it smells gross. But now we have the Orville. And the Orville is completely different from The Next Generation as far as characters and... let me rephrase that. Nothing's named the same thing. It's not meant to be in the Star Trek universe. But it's also good. On another note that has nothing to do with character or anything, the design of the show is sugoi gozaimasu. It is so good. I have to get another towel. Ugh. It's so good. It looks real, or at least it looks very polished, very well done. It doesn't look cheap, I guess you could say. Wet hands, oh well, I'm touching my phone. Let's go get another towel. Oh wait, it's over here. Ugh. Got myself another towel, tiny towel, but another towel nonetheless. Leave. Thank you. This is gonna be weird. Let's throw you away. Guess there's nothing else in you. Put you there. There really isn't anywhere to put some of this stuff. We do what we do. Anyway, so continuing on with what's it called? The Orville. It's so good. And then going into season 2, it continues on with that level of seriousness, where, the seriousness that season 1, episode 3 had. And I love it. It does still joke around quite a bit, but it's not as, silly as Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest really, batters on how ridiculous Star Trek can be and how the original series was. And it does do that, but it's much more just a Star Trek show. And I love that because I wanted Star Trek. Discovery wasn't bad, but it was not anything like the other Star Treks. It had nothing to do with them. It wasn't episodic the way it was. It was like a through line. They had episodes, but every single episode was connected. The Next Generation didn't have that. Maybe, so in The Next Generation, they have a few episodes that go together that connect the, saga of talking about Worf's dad and whether or not he was a traitor to the Klingons. And they have many episodes, and some that are less connected than others, but others that still, they still deal with it. Not Discovery. Discovery is, a very, very long movie. It wasn't uninteresting, but I like that The Next Generation, each episode can focus on a different topic. Something to discuss, food for thought. Anyways, back to dishes. I don't know what else to say. This is a lot of talking. I talk a lot. This is a lot of talking to try and continually talk. Let's see. What else have I been watching? Or have I recently finally seen? Oh, not really recently, but I have finally seen The Fifth Element that took a long time. So I grew up very Christian, and with that comes not watching certain things because they either are like scandalous or they come off as scandalous. I don't think The Fifth Element is scandalous, and it could just be that we didn't see it as kids because it just wasn't interesting to my parents. My dad is the one who introduced me to Star Trek. Go figure. But I don't know why we never saw The Fifth Element. It's quite funny. Oh, you know what? It could be. If they saw it and they decided not to see it or show us, I don't know, maybe. Unfortunately, I don't remember everyone's name, but the like fashion designer guy who's like, very fabulous, whatever, give me your chocolate. Like, I don't remember what his name is. The black guy who's like, Kobe, Kobe. That guy. He's very feminine, effeminate, as you might say. So that could be why, because they're like, no, he's basically gay. And it's like, okay, well, oh well. A pity that I had to miss out on a fun movie, but it's pretty good. It's interesting. And also now I understand multipass. Only took however long. What else did I just recently watch? I'm trying, so I have a large movie collection of like maybe 350 different titles, and I'm trying to go through the ones I haven't seen because I buy movies whether or not I've seen them because sometimes I know that I will like them, or I'm interested enough in them that I want to see them at some point. So, why did I just watch? Oh, Mad Max Fury Road was one of those ones that I was like, I haven't seen it yet, but I know I'm going to find it interesting and I will want to see it. So, I'll get it now because it was like, $3.75 or whatever. On like, not clearance, I think it might have been a Black Friday thing at Walmart. I'm like, I'll get it so that now I can go back and look at it. I know I've seen something else recently that I hadn't seen before. I don't remember what it was. Instead, let's talk about Pan's Labyrinth, because what an incredible movie. Oh, and then I want to talk about anime. Oh, there's too much to talk about. Then again, I have a lot of dishes to do, and this is definitely making it easier for me to discuss. And not discuss. It's definitely making it easier for me to do the dishes, because I'm, like, talking about something. So, also, 17 minutes and 42 seconds. I'm pretty sure that I could not have done the dishes at home in a half hour at Dad. Then again, I am rinsing everything as I go. Whatever. Anyways. Pan's Labyrinth. I love it. I know that some people don't like watching films with subtitles on. I'm not entirely sure why. I think part of it is having to look down, doing it so you can see what I'm talking about. Look down at the subtitles and then back up at the action. Look down at the subtitles, back up at the action. And it can be very distracting, and then it's not enjoyable because you're like, I just want to watch the movie. Thankfully, Pan's Labyrinth isn't like crazy actiony, so you're not really missing anything when you're reading what people are saying. But aside from that, the story is so interesting, and the aesthetics, that is something that I just like. That really can help a movie when the aesthetics are cool. I know I'm just going to be spitballing, going from topic to topic, because this is how I think and this is what I'm talking about. Also, it's my video, not yours. Hi, my name's Trixie Mattel, and I'm Katya. And welcome to the show where we talk about whatever we want, because it's our show and not yours. Exactly, it's my video, not yours, Jock. Disagreeing with me. Anyways. Tangent, and now I don't necessarily remember what I was going to talk about. This is bad. Pan's Labyrinth's good. I don't remember. Anyways, we'll go on to something else. Love, Death, and Robots. It's a show on Netflix, at least Netflix US. And it's an anthology series, so each episode is its own story, has nothing to do with the other episodes, other than the overarching theme being Love, Death, and Robots. And it has some hits and some misses. Some of the hits are so good. They have some incredible animation on there. Plus, it's animation that isn't, like, trying to be cutesy and good for everyone. I don't mind I don't mind, super gay here, I don't mind films that are animated that are meant for children, but there's a lot of them. And I would like the aesthetic of an animated movie, but that isn't so perfect and simple and sweet and lovely and wonderful. Pixar, I can give you a pass. But, something like Sausage Party, not everyone enjoyed it, but it was so over-the-top, silly, ridiculous, and definitely not for kids. And I like that because there's things that I enjoy that kids, quote-unquote, aren't really supposed to watch, such as sex. I love them all. But I really enjoyed it. So, same thing with Love, Death, and Robots. There's a lot in there that is, like, not for kids, but it was very interesting. Oh, excuse me. So, that was good. I Am Mother. Another great show. Oh, yeah. See, this is what I do. I just spitball. I Am Mother is also a good film. It's on Netflix. Having to do with repopulation of the Earth by a single robot. And it follows the story of her doing said repopulation and starting off with just one child. There's that. I can't think. This is why if I ever did YouTube, I would need a fucking script because I would not remember anything. Let's spray down in this. If you come across this video, comment below if you just washed a plate. Leave a like if you just washed a spoon. And share this video if you just washed a cup. Just spraying some water. Let's see, what else can I talk about? This is a very everywhere video that's not really meant to have one topic. I was like, I'll have to do dishes. I'm gonna just do that and also film. I mean, I would be live streaming this if I could, but for some reason when I went to click, go live, it said, like, your account is not set up to do mobile live streaming. I'm like, why? What? Explain YouTube! No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why. Weird. It must be like it might be like when you're trying to monetize your videos, you need to have a certain amount of subscribers, or I think it's a certain amount of watch minutes or something. Anyways, couldn't, so instead I'm recording video on the YouTube app that I will upload later, or directly after filming this. Oh yeah, it's also 9:11. That's a weird number. It's 9:11 p.m. I guess it's clean now. 9:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because, I said I was in New Hampshire earlier. What else? Finally just got a microwave. I am trying to self-isolate, but I mean, okay, so here's one of the problems that I have to deal with is I can't self-isolate because my job isn't... My job is an essential business, somehow. I don't know how. I do manufacturing of, like, computer boards, and I don't really know why it is, but apparently it's an essential business. I don't know why. I know that we make some medical things, we make some parts for planes and stuff, but I don't really know why it's an essential business. Then again, if it wasn't an essential business and we were closed, I'm a temp employee at the business, so I don't know if I would get, like, paid leave. I don't know. The part-time business, the temp business is kind of weird when it comes to that sort of stuff. Not that they're weird about it, but their policies are weird. I'm like, I don't get it. But anyways, I can't self-isolate as much as I'd like to. Then again, it is nice to be around people. And I still have my job, which is a good thing. Not everyone has that, obviously. I will say, for goodness sakes, Trump should have done something sooner instead of just saying, it's okay, it's all under wraps, we'll have it stopped within a week, or whatever it was he said. Instead, he just played it off as as if it was nothing important, nothing to be concerned about. And look at us now. Of all places, New Hampshire, of all places, is under a stay-at-home order. Trump. Want to get political? Let's get political. I don't necessarily have a crazy amount against Trump. Ow. No. Let me restart that sentence. I have a lot against Trump, but I don't necessarily think that he has done nothing good. I'm sure he's done something that has helped. What? I haven't a clue. But I'm sure it exists. Ow. Some hot water. Ow. There you go. I'm sure he's done some things that have helped either the economy or people in general. I mean, I don't know what else he could possibly do. Like, I'm sure he's helped a war somewhere. I haven't seen evidence of him being a good president. I'll say that. And it's hard for me to have this view because my close family does not really agree with me. It's not that they're necessarily Trump supporters as much as when I have brought up that I don't agree with Trump and I don't like him and I don't want him as president, I want him impeached, all that sort of stuff. At least my mom is not like wanting to have that conversation. If she agreed with me, we'd probably have that conversation, but she doesn't want to, so we don't. I think the stuff he's done at the border of Mexico and the US is absolutely horrible, and it's not only the things he's done, it's the things he hasn't done. I don't know if he was necessarily responsible. I think he was, but I don't know if he was necessarily responsible for the separation of families at the border. But if he wasn't, people brought it to his attention and he still did not do anything about it. He did not stop it from happening, which, as I understand, was a pretty simple thing to do. That is simple for a president. Another thing that I don't appreciate and I don't like is that he banned transgender people from serving in the military. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? There are people who want to be in the military. I am not one of them. But there are people that want to be in the military and they want to protect the country, they want to serve in some way. And you're telling some of those people no, just because of a personal detail of their life. So, I think that's fucking stupid. It doesn't affect their job. And then again, I'm not like really well versed on the topic of the transgender people being banned from the military. From what I do know is one of the points that Trump brought up as to why they can't be is because their medical expenses are so expensive. It's really hard on our budget. I'm like, what? First of all. Second of all, I believe people looked into it and it really wasn't as big as he was thinking, or at the very least that there are more people in the military that have other medical expenses or whatever that are more than transgender people's expenses. So why are the transgender people being the ones, kicked out, whereas there are other people who not deserve it more, because I don't think anyone really does when it comes to this sort of thing, but that there are people who are being allowed to stay. The point being, it's an attack on people who are transgender. It has nothing to do with their medical expenses. It's just an excuse to be able to say, I don't want them in the military. It's not that their expenses are high, it's that they're transgender. And that's what's fucking stupid. I can't believe it. It's so bonkers to me. The point being, if someone wants to be in the military and they have the qualifications, and they're strong and all the whatever other things, I don't know what you need to do to be in the military. If you don't have any problems with your health, by the way, being transgender is not a problem with your health, you should be allowed to serve. If you want to protect the country, if you want to go into dangerous areas and protect us, why would you be denied that? I'm sure there's a lot I don't know about the topic, but that's what I had to say for now. Okay. Let me think of something else. I don't know. I can't think of anything else to talk about. It's so hard to talk about myself. I'm just so humble. No. Okay, let's talk about drag. I love Trixie and Katya. They are everything, but I wouldn't say that I'm just a stan of them. Sure, they can do things that aren't okay. But I still love their content. I think they're so hilarious. I love Trixie Cosmetics YouTube channel. I love drag. I'm aspiring, you might say. I'm not good at makeup yet. I don't have any. I really don't even have any makeup. I have like a tiny cover up that really isn't all that good. It was just cheap, and I was trying to practice to cover my eyebrows with glue, and excuse me, I wanted something that would at least cover it up a little bit so that I could see whether or not it actually worked. But then all of this craziness happened, and everyone bought out moist wipes, and now I can't do them because I can't clean them off. I guess you could use a washcloth, but I don't want to get glue in a washcloth. I clean, wait, not yet. Honestly, this isn't a bad idea because it's getting the dishes done. It's a lot easier than me being like, oh, I wish I had someone to talk to. Weird enough, like, if I were to talk to my friends, like, I don't think I would be getting this done because I'd want to, like, just relax and focus on talking to them. At least this way I can kind of ramble, talk about whatever, and not have to think about it. Ooh, here's another facet of my interests in life that is not at all helpful in any way. So there's the new phones that have been coming out, which are like foldable screens essentially. So I don't remember what they're called. There's the Motorola phone. I think there's one called the Galaxy Flip, maybe. I don't quite remember. But basically they have screens that they're flat and then they fold shut, or it's like wide and then you can fold it in half and then it's a regular sized phone. I may or may not have that, but no one's talking about it. So I had the ZTE Axon M, and this is a phone that came out quite a while ago now. MKBHD, I believe, did videos on it. If not, Austin Evans or someone else did on YouTube. They talked about it. It doesn't have a foldable screen per se. Let me wipe the hands on the pants so that you're not getting this thing. They did reviews of it. Yeah, they did review. I was like, what am I talking about? They did reviews of the phone. But then they are doing reviews of the foldable phones, and they're not talking about this one. And this basically does that. It's not exactly the same because it, like I said, it doesn't actually fold the screen. But instead, what it has is a hinge between two screens, and if you want, you can set it to a mode where the two screens kind of act as one. So the only space that isn't screen is the hinge in between the two. There really isn't a way to show you other. Well, I could show you in the mirror, but it's in dishes. Like if you just washed a spoon. This isn't a live stream. If it was, I would say, oh, which reminds me, let me explain why I'm doing this live stream. It's not a live stream. It's just a video. It's going to be a 35-minute plus video that I get to upload onto my channel. I don't remember if I was talking about something or not. I'm really bad at this. I am so scatterbrained going from this topic and then let me talk about, wait, what was I talking about? Like, it's so bad. Then again, I am also trying to just constantly speak. Not exactly easy to do by yourself. That's why it's called a conversation. Oh, speaking of a conversation, there we go. Very ADHD, whatever. Speaking of a conversation, I love some podcasts. One of which is a conversation with, hence why I thought about it, with Philip DeFranco. I don't care what you think about Philip DeFranco, because I can think about what I think. I like his content. I like his Philip DeFranco show. I also love Rogue Rocket's deep dives. And I also really like the conversation with podcasts. One that came recently was the one with Rhett and Link. And that really kind of hit home for me. Because they're talking about how they're not Christians anymore because of like the ways that they've interacted with the church and that they really don't agree with it anymore. Oh. Interesting. I've never had a, what's that thing called in the sink? I don't remember. It's like it grinds up stuff so that you can, drain it. It was just filling up with water. And yeah. Anyways, Rhett and Link, very ADHD, like I said. Their podcast is their podcast. The podcast they were in. Very eye-opening, and I think it was the same day, if not the day after, that Ricky Dillon came out as gay. Now, he's come out before as asexual. I think panromantic maybe at the same time. I don't know if he was going that. I don't know if he was going that detailed, but he recently came out as gay, and he talked about how the reason he hadn't come out is because in his upbringing, he was told that you couldn't, like, you just could not be attracted to the same sex. So he figured, well, if I'm not attracted to girls and I can't be attracted to guys, I must just be asexual. But in the video, he's finally come to the conclusion that he's just plain old gay. And everything he talked about that, even down to something as kind of silly as looking at Chris Evans' hot bod. Like, I really relate to a lot of it. And it's really sad. And it also kind of makes me mad that there are people in the universe, especially in the United States, of all places, that still aren't okay with it. My family being part of it. I don't know if it'll ever change, but it's a lot. I'm not even out to my family yet. If they end up across this video, then go off. Enjoy knowing now and go ahead and call me if you want to talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it and you just want to forget it ever existed or that I ever existed, sad, but you do have that right. Isn't that sad that there are people who call themselves Christians who say that God is love, and yet there are still those who are Christian who say that God is love, who then learn that their child is transgender or is gay or lesbian or bisexual or just overall part of the community, and they say, nope, not in my fucking house, get out. You have 20 minutes, pack your stuff, you're leaving, I don't want to see your face again. And if there's anyone who doesn't believe that that's a thing, well, do your research, because it's very real. And thankfully, not my situation, but I'm also not out to my family yet, so it could still happen, I suppose. Then again, thankfully, I've moved out. And I don't have to worry about not having a place to go. I'm self-sustaining. I don't have them paying for any of my bills. So, really, it's kind of just a matter of time. I just need another towel for my hands. Really, it's just a matter of time before I end up coming out. But then again, I also don't feel an intense pressure to come out. I don't feel like it's, very... Where is the fucking towel? I want to use the bathroom one. It's not like really important. Oh, right, I don't have a bathroom one. Paper towels it is. I don't really have a reason to not have come out, but I also don't feel, there we go. I'm trying to think of what I was talking about. I don't feel an intense pressure to come out. I'm like, if I don't have to come out, I don't have to come out. If they end up finding out, good for them, I guess. Like, I'm okay with, not that I think I'm this good at anything, but if somehow I ended up coming on Drag Race and someone saw it and was like, I know that bitch, and I know his family, I'm gonna tell him all about it. Be like, hey, did you see your son was on that fag show? If that were to happen, whatever. Now you know. A pity you didn't see it beforehand. The thing is I'm also hungry, and I also don't want to do any dishes. I've done quite a few. Have I done any plates? I don't think. Oh, I've done some bowls. Or I've done a bowl. Dishes are boring. They're so non-exciting. I don't know what else to... Oh, this is over here. I don't know what else to talk about. And it definitely would be easier if there was someone else to bounce ideas back off of. Plus, then I don't have to just talk about whatever, talk about myself. I could talk with the person. Maybe I'll focus on getting this to an hour. 20 more minutes. Ugh, it's so long. I don't want to do it anymore. I did get a microwave. Ooh, I have a way of helping myself. Let's have a soda. So that I have a bit of energy in me from the flavor. Side note, having nothing to do with anything else. Side note, having nothing to do with anything else. If you're thirsty, but you don't feel like getting up... Oh, not that. I'm smart. If you are thirsty, but you don't feel like getting up to get a drink, do you ever breathe in through your mouth to cool your mouth off, and it's kind of thirst quenching almost? It's like... And it's just somehow thirst quenching in a little bit. Not really thirst quenching, but at least it helps. Okay, I'm just going to turn it up this way because I don't have time for that. Sun-kissed orange, better than fucking Fanta. I think there's another orange soda. It's just gross. I like Sun-kissed. I don't mind some cheap sodas like from Hannaford or from Mark Bassett or whatever. But this is good. Oh, did you hear that? That was a good thing. And that wasn't even... Will everything stop moving around? Thank you. And that wasn't even planned. That wasn't planned, and it was delicious. What else did I get? I also got some cookies. I just went to Walmart and they were closing at 8:30. Normally they're open till midnight, but with all this coronavirus shit going on, they're closing early. So I got some chocolate chip muffins. I got some carrot cake muffins. No, chocolate chip cookies, carrot cake cookies. Delicious, so good. I still have quite a bit of ramen, but as it is, I hate fucking doing dishes. I don't want to have to clean a thing. I don't want to have to clean a pot every time I want to make a ramen noodle. Hence, the microwave that I have down there that you can't see. It's right there. It's right there. Right there. Let me actually see what else I just recently watched. Oh, I have Forrest Gump. I haven't seen it yet. Let me talk about this. And Neverending Story. But I just watched The Adventures of Tintin again for the first time in a while. It came out I think it came out in 2011, so 9 years ago. And rewatching it, I realized how much I really, really found Tintin attractive, because going through it, I realized that I'd forgotten how much I would quote as I'm watching the movie, I would say the same thing Tintin was saying. So he says like, "Good job, Snowy," and I would say it at the same time. Only just now am I realizing, oh, I forgot that I really found him attractive. uh, so I just saw Neverending Story. I have Contact. I'm gonna watch it. Shout out to Katya. I just watched Watchmen, directed by Zack Snyder. Pretty cool, pretty interesting. I really like it. I would like to watch more. Hence, thank goodness there's a series on it. Haven't seen it. Haven't seen the series yet, but I would like to watch more. Not recently, but I have finally seen Devil Wears Prada. What a good movie! I saw Zoolander. Not great of a movie. It's not. It's not even that funny. It's just. It's not that good. Have Cowboys and Aliens. Haven't seen that yet. Oh, I watched Hairspray. Finally saw that. Finally saw John Travolta as a woman. Very distracting. Not necessarily bad, but I think it could have been done better. Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray. Love you, girl. I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. What do I have down here? Haven't seen Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, but I have seen AI, Artificial Intelligence, and that is a pretty good movie. Not to mention Jude Law. Oh my gosh. Now we're back here. Jude Law, oh my goodness, so hot, daddy. His plastic fucking face. Preparing to fuck that woman. Honey. Ooh, let's talk about myself because I'm narcissistic. Not really. Let's talk about me. So, I am a MAB. I'm assigned male at birth. I'm 25 years old, about to turn 26 in May. I am non-binary, but more specifically, I would say agender. I just don't really feel gender. I'm like, meh. And I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, and I'm not even really anything at all. I'm just a little cookie. That's it. I identify as a cookie. I've lived on my own now for I think about a month, or is it more than that? I think I'm coming up on 2 months. I don't know what this was. What else can I talk about myself? Sexuality. If you want to be basic, not like basic, but I mean like if you just want to be like as simple and easy to understand, I'm gay. Aside from that, if you are not someone who gets angry at SJWs, I'm not an SJW by any stretch of the imagination, but I enjoy all the different labels: agender, bigender, two gender. I love all of those labels. They're fun and interesting, and they're a good way to be more specific with how you identify. Many people don't feel the need for them. I like them, hence agender. But when it comes to sexuality, excuse me, I would think I'm more multisexual than anything. And what I mean by that is, so let's go back to the basis of everything. So bisexual technically means that you are attracted to two genders. No more, no less. You're not attracted to only one, you're attracted to two, period. So most people, if you're heterosexual or you're homosexual, that means that you're just attracted to one gender. If you're homosexual, it happens to be the same gender as yourself. If you're heterosexual, it's a different gender than yourself. Interestingly enough, it's not necessarily the opposite gender because there's more than two. This sounds really SJW. I'm not trying to be. This is going deeper into what I like to learn about. So if you're bisexual, that would mean that you're attracted to two genders. It doesn't mean that it's your gender and someone else's. It could be you could be attracted to only people that aren't your gender. So you could say there are three genders. There's male, there's female, and then there's non-binary. But I consider myself to be agender. You could say that it's its own gender to begin with. So if that's the case, then there's more than three. So for me, I don't really I can look at a woman and say that she's beautiful, attractive, and sexy, but I don't necessarily want to fuck her or be fucked by her. No, thank you. I'm just not into that. Men, however, yes, but I would say that I read very male. So if I read male, but I'm agender, then someone else who reads very male but is not male, I can be attracted to that person. So what I'm saying is that I am multisexual. I am attracted to more than two genders, but not all genders. Pansexual would be that you're attracted to all genders, or gender does not matter. You can be into anyone. It doesn't mean that you're into everyone. It just is that you can be into anyone. It doesn't matter. The gender does not make a difference. For a lot of people, let's say if you're a cis man, a lot of the times, if you're another man, no. And that, so gender does make a difference in that case, or the other way with women. But if I'm multisexual, that means that I'm attracted to many genders, just not females. It's not being sexist. I'm not saying I don't like women because women are gross. No, I just don't find women attractive. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to explain it. Also, soda. Yum, delicious. Also, I want a cookie. Like a tiny little whoopie pie. Oh. Good. I like sweet, but I like salty more. I don't know why. Part of it is if I have too much sugar, it can hurt my teeth. But salty never happens like that. And maybe it's also that salty makes you thirsty, but that's an easy fix. You just drink water or you drink something sweet. Whereas with sweet, there really isn't any. This is an interesting thought. There aren't really any drinks that are salty. Everything is either not flavored, so it's like water, sparkling water, like unflavored Kool-Aid, fruity, or sweet. There's no drinks that I know of that are salty. Broth doesn't count because you don't drink broth. I mean, you do drink broth, but broth is part of something else. You wouldn't have a bottle of broth that you just drink. Maybe it's because salty works better hot, whereas sweet can work cold. I don't know. Because you have coffees and teas, and if they have anything, they're sweetened. You never have a salty tea. Maybe it's a market to start. I don't know. Probably not. I just can't think of anything that people would want to go into a convenience store and pick up a bottle of a salty drink. Maybe because the point is that a salty drink would just make you more thirsty, so you'd have to get 2 drinks. Well, it's good cookie. I don't know. Let's see. What are my notifications saying? My fingers are now too dry. Oh, or I just can't see them. Well, I think this is good enough for now. Here's my pantry. I have some things in here. I have some granola bars up there. There's the cookies. That is some popcorn, which now I have a microwave to make. Here's a bunch of spices and fixings like sriracha sauce, some chocolate syrup, some cinnamon, and I have some baking stuff up there, like a cornmeal. This is flour, that's sugar. I think I have some cereal too, and then I have some, there's pizza and some taquito stuff. I also have a steak that I've yet to make. What do I have in here? I have half a watermelon. I have some pasta that I have yet to eat. I made some here. I don't know if you can see it if I'm holding the phone right, but there is some sausage patties. There's some bacon back there. That's potatoes. There's another steak that I made up. There's some Chinese rice that, once again, now I have a microwave to heat up. So nice. That was an interesting face. I have milk, obviously, and some eggs. So I'm okay, but as a way to sign off, let's be really depressing and sad. As I understand, this self-isolation requirement slash safety precaution will probably last until like at least November. That is really going to change everyone's life. Everyone is going to think about things differently. So right now, it's like, okay, if snap, every single case of coronavirus has cured and the virus itself is just gone. It doesn't exist anymore. I think people would be kind of able to get back into doing things regularly, going to work, hanging out at bars, going to restaurants, that sort of thing. But come November, of us having to do this for months and months and months and months and months, everyone is going to be scared, I think, to go out. And it'll be really weird to be in a building with more than 10 people. It's going to feel really awkward and weird and strange. Some people will probably enjoy it because it'll be, finally we're released from our self-isolation. But I don't know. It's going to be a really weird time. But in the meantime, I'm starting to learn how to sew. I have some denim. So I went to a Goodwill and I just got a bunch of jeans. I didn't care what they looked like, aside from not being like badly ripped or whatever. I just wanted a bunch of jeans, and I was able to cut them up into bigger panels, and I made a skirt out of them. Why did I say it like that? I don't know. I made a skirt out of them. Nice and flowy. You spin, it makes a big circle. Wonderful. And I got a sewing machine, and it's giving me something to do. It's allowing me to have something to take my mind off of things. I also have my Xbox, and I have some friends that I can play like Minecraft, or we can play some Jackbox games, or we can have like a Twitch stream of someone playing some game and the rest of us watch. So there are things to do. I obviously have all of my movies I can get through. I have some shows that I can watch. I'm watching The Good Place. I'm finally watching that. Really good, by the way. Another thing that I could talk about, but I'm not gonna. Then again, I could talk for 2 and 3/4 minutes. Then I could get to an hour. Then I guess I'll do that. But it may be scary to be self-isolated, but it's very important to, as I understand, this is very shaky. I'm apologizing. It's very important to, so we need to be social distancing. But also don't lose hope. Don't think that this is never going to get better, because once they have the vaccination, things will be able to return to, normal. As I understand, and this is a sentence apparently that I start with that. This is a phrase I say a lot. As I understand, because I don't want to pretend that I know everything. As I understand, things like the flu and other viruses that have existed in the past took a long time for us to get a vaccination or a vaccine. So 1.5 years apparently is a very, very quick turnaround for what should be normal and regular. So if we get it by then, thank goodness, because it could have been a lot worse. But I don't know where I was going to go with that. I'm just trying to fill up this minute and 20 seconds. Yeah, don't lose hope. Things will be able to return to normal, and even if they can't, definitely, like, I know call someone for me is not really all that interesting, and I don't really want to call someone, but if you have friends, do a large voice chat, like a group chat with people, and play some games. You could even do a voice call like this, let's say, and have the board on the table that let's say you have a board game that everyone else doesn't have. You can play for everyone. Maybe you couldn't do something where you have to look at their cards or whatever, but something like maybe Betrayal in the House on the Hill, because you don't really have to hide anything. Everyone sees everything all the same. So yeah, there are things you can do to keep yourself positive, keep interacting with humans, to not lose your social skills to be able to talk with people. But anyways, That's 15 seconds to go before it's the end of the hour. So somehow I talked for an hour. Not exactly a podcast, but maybe I'll start one of those. Thank you for watching if you were watching, and have a good time.